Wow, okay. Hopefully everybody can see me now. Let me see if I can copy this. Okay, I just pasted a link to the previous stream. Hopefully people see it. This is a problem. Hi, everyone. I see you guys kind of rolling in now. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. I don't know why I'm still having technical issues. This time, it's not my fault. I mean, the audio was out of sync. Refreshing the browser usually fixes that, but then it wouldn't reconnect to the stream. So hopefully there's no audio sync issues and everything is nice and clean now. I see a few people rolling in. I need to update the chat window. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. How about this chat? Hey, Brian, how are you? Thank you. I'm glad the audio and video is good now. Oh, okay, so let me just start over. Welcome to my Tuesday live stream. Gosh, this happened last week too, didn't it? I'm gonna have to deal with that. It's a technical issue. I don't think it's my fault. It's the app that I'm using. But this time I decided to just go uh, straight through YouTube instead of through the app, and this this is pretty reliable this way. But the other one has all these other nice features that, well, if they don't work, then what's the point, right? Anyhow, Tuesday live stream. So we talk about photography, and I do the best I can to answer any questions you might have, and then maybe I'll elaborate on any of the videos I may have made this week. I really only had one last week, and I haven't had time this week to make one yet. I mean, it's only Tuesday, but maybe tomorrow. And then my photo editing live stream, like I said, is kind of random. Uh, Actually, all of them are. All of the live streams are kind of random because I'll get these odd photo jobs that they'll call me and say to come out, and then they cancel, and it just makes it hard to schedule a stream on a regular basis now that jobs are starting to come in again. I have a really fun job tonight that I'll talk about a little later when a few more people roll in, hopefully. Let me close this window, and I don't really need this one open, I don't think. Fruit flies. Fruit flies are back, as well as mosquitoes. There was a small window where it was like it was fine, but now I guess the weather heated up back to like 90 degrees last week, and now they're all back. Mosquitoes and fruit flies and anyhow, I did a video on flash photography last week, focus bracketing with flash, and hey, there's I got a lot of great feedback on that, and I appreciate that. That was a kind of a spur of the moment video too. I was like right around 8 o'clock or 9, I got kind of inspired. I said, oh, I should do a video on focus bracketing with flash because it came up briefly in another stream. And I said, well, this will make an easy video, I think. So I said, so around 9 o'clock, I said, all right, let me set up my desk and the props and everything I need to kind of get the video ready, my desk, right? And that took about an hour with a few practice shots. And then around 10:30, I was like, I might as well make the video now. I was planning to kind of set everything up and do it in the morning because it was so late. I didn't finish till like 3 in the morning making that video. No script, very little planning. Like about an hour before I made the video was all of the planning that I did. And it came out okay. I mean, I should take a little more time and make them better, I guess. But when I'm for me, it's like I have to be kind of in that mood to make a video, like otherwise I just, I don't like feel like I'm forced to make a video because of a schedule, because they always say, YouTubers, you should be doing videos twice a week. Um, and you should have peer review, and I mean there's so many things, and it's like I just can't operate like that. It's just never been my what's the word, mo, modus operandi. It's usually like I'm just walking around with my camera and I'm like, oh, I could do a vlog right now, or I could sit down and make a quick video on this. And really a really good idea I got the other day, I think it was from John Matthews, I think, said, I should do a comparison between the 75 millimeter f1.8 lens, which is probably the sharpest lens I own, and compare that against the 75 to 300 kit zoom lens, right? It's like a $400 lens versus like an $800 lens. But then zoom out to 300 millimeters, take a picture, then compare that to the 75 millimeter and crop in and see if there's any difference. I mean, 300 millimeters is 4 times the focal length, so theoretically, the 75 millimeter would have to be 4 times sharper than the 75 to 300, right? Uh, but it's always interesting because sometimes I think about getting the 40 to 150 Pro lens or the 300 millimeter f4 Pro lens, and my argument is like, well, if I get the 40 to 150, I can always crop in 2x. I mean, is the 300 millimeter? I mean, is the 40 to 150 twice as sharp as the 300? Probably not, but sharp enough for me, right? uh, So I don't know. I'm thinking about that. But a good test would be 75 versus 75 to 300. And then I'll throw in my 14 to 150 and my 40 to 150 in, because then it would be like a 30-second video, 75 and 300, right? I might as well throw in a few other lenses and see. Uh, I mean, I've done kind of comparisons like kit lens versus pro lens, and they were very what you would expect. The pro lenses are sharper, but not so much so that you want to spend 800, $1,000 maybe, right? Unless you're a hardcore enthusiast or professional, where those things will make substantial difference in your photography, at least what you deliver to your clients. For me, it's never made a big deal. Never been a big deal for me to get a pro lens. Uh, because I downsize everything to 2 megapixels anyway, and everything is sharp at 2 megapixels, right? How much resolution do you really need, or how sharp does your lens need to be if you're only making 2 megapixel images? Um, yeah, Druid, I think you're right. I mean, the 40 to 150, but see, they got that new 40 to 150 f4 coming out. Uh, that, depending on the price, I mean, it's going to be $1,000 at least 1,000 for that. But I think uh, I might prefer that over the f2.8 40 to 150, just because it's a lot smaller and I'm only losing one stop, right? Uh, that would be a nice complement to a 300 millimeter f4, right? So then you have 40 to 150 and 300 f4s. um, another lens I'd really like to get is the 8 to 25 f4, but man, we're talking, one, two, four, talking almost 5 grand in lenses just for 3 lenses. 5 grand, right? If I buy all brand new, which I never do. I always buy refurb or used or uh, refurb or used, right? But even if it's half that price, it's still $2,500. I don't know if I put all my lenses together, if they're worth 2,500 bucks. I mean, on trade-in. But that would replace a lot of my lenses. Those three right there. Let's see if I saw I don't know what I would even sell. I like my lenses that I have. My 17, my 45, my 25, um, my 75. I like all my lenses. Nice, small, fast primes, which are perfect for micro four thirds. But I do run into issues. Even the 75 to 300 I kind of like because it's relatively small and gets decent images. I mean, they're not pro grade, but they're nice enough. It's just that you have to be in really good light to get a decent, clean image. And it gets a little soft at 300. Between 200 and 250, it's actually a really sharp lens. Uh, Relatively, for the money, right? Okay, let me check up on some. That's great, Marco. Your wife thinks my voice is soothing, right? If I start an ASMR channel, I'd probably get like 1 million subscribers, right? Unlike my photo channel, which, it's been stuck at like this 20,000 range for the last 2 or 3 years. Um, but that's cool. And Jerky says, I'm still trying to choose between the 40 to 152.8 and the 100 to 400. That is a tough call because they cost about the same, give or take, right? If you're going to spend over $1,000, we're talking, at least for me, when a lens reaches over $1,000, now it's like sky's the limit. Do I spend 2,000, 3,000? You know what I mean? I might as well get the best one I can if I'm going to be spending 1,000 plus. Uh, I would I would probably lean towards the 100 to 400 in this case, which is a lens I totally forgot about. But I've seen amazing results with that lens. That's virtually a pro lens at, kit lens prices, basically. Uh, yeah, I would probably lean towards that even. And that's another reason I'm second guessing a 40 to 152.8 versus getting a 300 f4 Pro, because I can go 100 to 400, but then for a little more I can get a 300 f4. So why would I consider the 40 to 150 f2.8 unless I need to be kind of wide at the 40 millimeter? It's just one of those things. I mean, it's great to have choice. And I think if I was doing portrait work, the 40 to 150 would be pretty awesome. Because you could zoom out to get the full body shot. You could zoom in to do the headshot. You could do a full portrait session with that one lens, tack sharp, good bokeh, all of that, right? That to me is more of like as a professional, I'd probably use that for events, right? You go to events and stuff, and you could do, uh, again, you could do nice headshots and close-ups, but then you can zoom in to 150 and get people that are a little bit far away. Uh, to me, that's the kind of, for me, that's how I would use that lens, is like for events and things, in portrait work. But I'm not a big event portrait guy. Uh, if I'm gonna zoom in, man, I need 300 millimeters. So telephoto, super telephoto. Like I got my 75 to 300. I rarely use that unless I'm at the full 300 millimeters, right? Between 250 and 300. But I did use it in an interesting way this week. Let me just, I'll talk about that. Let me just catch up on the chat. Druid says, I have the 300 f4 and the 40 to 51 2.8. The brighter 2.8 is very handy during early morning and late evening. Safari is poor light. Even end up using a 75 1.8. Yes, I agree. If you're going to be shooting in low light all the time, It's better to have a faster lens, particularly for wildlife. A full stop is a big difference, in low light. That's not a small thing. In good light, you're at base ISO all day long, but when the light starts to drop, early morning, early evening, a stop of light is a big deal. And System Natures here, good to see you. And and Marco says the 40-150 is surprisingly versatile. Yes, I agree. And the 100-400 is long and sharp. Yeah, that may be a good alternative to the 300 f4, except it is a bit slow, right? I think it's in the f6 range, give or take, wide open. I would have a hard time with that. I might as well just use my 75-300. I mean, if you're gonna, because the problem is, your shutter speed starts to drop, and your ISO cranks up, so any sharpness that the lens is going to offer is offset by your higher ISO, and you're losing detail anyway, so you're not getting the best out of the lens in lower light. Yeah, is it going to be better? Of course, but if you're going to spend, that kind of money, I feel like it's better to spend a little more and get a faster lens if you're going to be in low light, right? Early morning, late evening, because yeah, it's twice as sharp, but then your ISO is high anyway. So why waste it? I don't know. Does that logic work? I think yeah. Why go with the 100-400 if you're going to be early evening, early evening, early morning? It could be tough because you're cranking the ISO anyway. And now we're talking at 300 millimeters. We're probably talking a stop and a half, right? Maybe even, yeah, about a stop and a half difference in light. That's a big deal between the 100-400 versus the 300 f4. And the 300 f4 is certainly sharper. And it's like a $2,700 new, and I see it on eBay for about 2,000, give or take. Mostly give. You'd probably need to pay a little more than 2,000 most of the time, but uh, yeah, like I said, once you're spending more than $1,000, why limit yourself? Just spend it all. Just max out your credit card. Great advice, right? Max out your credit card. Uh, because I just feel like, you know, $1,000 plus. We're talking $1,500 plus. It's money wasted if you're going to compromise on low light and stuff. To me, I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's different, right? To me, I just feel like if I'm going to spend 1,500, 2,000, I might as well spend 2,500 and get something good. And they're different lenses. I mean, 100-400 gives you a lot more versatility. Uh, Still, we're talking like for me to spend that kind of money. Oh God, that's not happening. That's not happening for a while. Oof. Anyhow, uh, yeah, the Marcia, yeah, I agree. The 70-300 is really good in good light. Um, and Jimmy says you have DxO. D prime gets you good images at higher ISO. Absolutely, it's amazing. It's amazing. DxO PhotoLab 4 Elite with the deep prime. Man, I got images that would be totally unusable. I went to a wedding the other day. I wasn't the photographer, I was just the guest, but I went to the wedding and I was shooting at ISO 6400 and higher because it was at night, you know, all night, and every image was just total garbage, in terms of noise and everything. But I cleaned them all up with DxO and they were usable. you know, and I sent them over to my friend, the mom who got, not the mom, the mom's daughter got married, but the mom and I were very good friends, and I knew her kids pretty well. And I just sent them over to her without any any reservation in terms of, the image quality, because considering I was a guest and not the main photographer shooting at high ISO, who cares? I certainly didn't, because I was just sending some candid shots in, but they still looked really, really good. And John Hansen says the 40 to 150 2.8 is a great all-around lens. Yes, it is. It really is. It's a great lens, but it just doesn't have the reach that I would use it for. I think it's like I said before, I'd use it for events and portrait work, but I don't do a lot of that. So, um, and Marco says we can't take the money with us. If you've got the ability, it won't put you in the poorhouse and brings any joy and potential. Go for it. Yeah, it would put me in the poorhouse quickly. I mean, that 40 to 150, man. That's more than I make in a month. I mean, honestly, if I spent that money, 1/12 of my income would go to one lens. I don't know. Just to give you some perspective how little I make. I mean, I'm so poor. You have no idea. But I'm happy, right? I don't have to work too hard. And I can kind of maintain. I mean, being poor in the US is a lot different than being poor in other countries, right? uh, the standard of living here is pretty high, relatively speaking. I'm not like in a tent, living in a tent or anything. I'm fine. I have my house and my car, and I can buy groceries, pay my utilities, such as they are. Uh, I don't need a lot, and I can just go out and enjoy photography, enjoy life, have lots of free time, spend it with my friends and family. And, it's a lifestyle choice, right? It does limit my ability to buy $1,500 lenses or $3,000 lenses, and it certainly limits my ability to travel, but I don't like to travel anyway, right? But I'm pretty happy with the way things are. A little bit more money would be nice, but uh, because things come up in life. Like I have to replace my oil tank. Oh God, that's going to cost me $2,700. I mean, that's going on a credit card, but wow, that's a chunk of change. But it just comes with home ownership, right? You have to maintain your house. Yeah, Marco's right. It's a game changer, really, for any photographer, not just M43 micro four thirds. That that deep prime is really freaking amazing. Like I just did a picture. Um, Jeff says you wish you could afford the 150 to 400. I know, right? Some people just have it like that. Yes, we are definitely blessed here in the US, John. Let me see if I can pull up this image I did the other day. Um, where's the raw? And let me get the final JPEG output. You guys will be amazed. I mean, if you haven't already. Oh, that was just a fun picture I did there. I'm going to pull it up. You guys will see this. It's really amazing. Whoops. Wrong. All right. Uh, Let me pull it up. So this is the after picture, but let me go to the before. This is the before picture here. I gotta. And this is reset, right? Okay, let me reset this. I gotta brighten it so you can see it a little bit. All right. And make sure I turned off all the noise reduction. Yeah. So look at this image. Look at the noise and everything all around here. This is at ISO 6400. This is the 75 to 300 at 300 millimeters, 1/800th of a second. I probably could have went a little slower, but when I shoot animals and stuff, I like to be at 1/800th, you know, when I'm shooting my dog. But yeah, look at this. This is I mean, for me, this is usable. It's just a picture of my dog, right? But here's the final output. I mean, I could brush out some of the artifacts here that are kind of in the bokeh areas. But look how nicely that cleaned up. I mean, that is just amazing to me. Look how clean the noise is over here. There's details still in her nose here. Certainly the whiskers are all nice and sharp, and the fur. It's just amazing. And then let me show you the original again. Look at that. That is just, that's the original raw punched in. There's the final output. I just can't, I can't get over how good it is. All right, let me go back to, oh, I got to show you this picture. I'm going to do a review on this software. Look at this image. This is the same picture, but with a click of a button, I was able to generate this nice kind of painted look or cartoonish look. This will be an interesting review. I just got the license this morning, so I'm going to do a review on this software. So if you're not the creative type, like you don't have a creative juices, like I'm not creative at all, but I can click a button, right, and generate this. This is pretty cool. Okay. So there's that. So that's coming up. And oh, Jacques is saying one of my favorite JAQ saying one of my favorite pastimes is photos walks with disposable camera. Photography can be for all budgets. Absolutely. Yeah, I got to get out and shoot some film. I'm just dying to shoot some film, but every time I go out, I'm like, I got to take the digital camera because there's a potential for me to vlog or something at the same. I don't know. I could bring both, but then I'm packing stuff, and I'm like, you know, I like to just kind of grab my camera and go, right? Just I got my extension tools. Oh, I didn't talk about this yet. Hold on, I got to talk about that too. Marcia says I had to replace my oil tank when I lived in Rockville. It was quite the ordeal, mentally and financially. Yeah. Oh, hey Randy, how are you? Good to see you. And let's see. Assistant Church says having a problem with laptop, keep losing YouTube video streams. Switch to a second feed on another laptop. Okay. And John is saying, why don't you offer to do some research barter work for the oil tank replacement with the company doing the work? It would be great for them as a PR tool. Oh, that's an interesting idea. But they're, you know, they have to be a little bit hungry though, right? Or lacking for business. But I had the schedule almost 6 weeks out. What is it? It's going to be October 17th is my, so not 6 weeks, but about 4.5 weeks was the delay. They are fully booked out to, you know, mid-October. So, you know, for them to spend money on PR or barter at all what would be the point for them? They'd be like, "Nah, we're fine. We got so much business. We don't need any help, or bartering." So, interesting idea. That's always good to think about things like that. But yeah, business got to be a little bit hungry because I worked at another business, did some consulting stuff, and people would call with all their advertising, ideas, magazines, directories, all kinds of, there's millions of different ways to market your business. And we were like, no thanks. The business is just booming. We have to turn business away because it's just too much. We can't accommodate the volume of customers we have now. So we don't need to advertise. So the advertising budget for this other business was zero advertising budget. They just didn't need to. And this oil tank replacement place is kind of in the same boat. I mean, if they're booked 4 weeks out to replace a tank, they don't need any help with advertising. Okay. Yeah, that's true, Marco. When you're buying a house, of course, again, it depends on the market, right? If it's a seller's market like it is now, that might be a tough thing because they got three or four other offers right behind yours to buy the house, and that's kind of what's going on. And it's to the point now that some I've seen a little bit of a drop because of the restrictions last year and some this year in business. I saw a huge drop last year, and this year I'm seeing a drop again, even though business is booming, because I don't do residential and that's where things are booming. But the commercial side is really suffering, and I'm not getting a lot of business that way either. But on the residential side, you hear things, right? And you might be getting some business, but there's a lot of realtors that all they have to do is take a few pictures with their iPhone and the house sells. You know, they don't really need to pay for a professional photographer. The only people that are really continuing to pay for professional photography work are sort of the for already established realtors that, you know, have a certain commitment to quality and service to their clients that they're not going to compromise on, even though business is good, right? So they'll still pay for the professional photography work, the videography, drones, whatever. They'll pay for all of that, even though the house will probably sell like this, the higher end homes, because they have a certain level of commitment or certain, they have a minimum level that they are not going to put a listing out and have crappy, cell phone pictures of the property because that reflects on them as an agent, right? But a lot of agents, they don't care. They just want the deal. They'll take a picture with their cell phone and list it, and they know it's going to be gone in a couple days. So they don't really care, right? These are the drive-by agents. They work for 6 months, a year, and then you never see them again. But the longer term agents, the agents that have been doing it a while and have a good clientele, you know, can you imagine they're going to a new client and they said, well, here's some listings I have right now. And a new client looks at this and says, well, those are crap. They're not going to do that. They're always going to have a certain level of quality. Okay. Okay, John, I'll look for it. Hopefully I can get to do an editing stream this week. And System of Church has had an issue with color balance recently. White balance set to auto and image. Red Admiral Butterfly looked okay in EVF, but downloading the red was orange. Um, it a lot of times, orange, the opposite, the opposite of orange is kind of a bluish, right? Bluish, magenta, sort of in that range, right? Purplish. If the butterfly was with a, if the butterfly was landing on sort of a bluish, magenta, purplish flower, that could be throwing the white balance off. Is is the only thing I can think of. Um, and depending on the colors in the butterfly, a red Admiral Butterfly. So I assume it's a red butterfly. So I would think, the reds are very strong, and it's going to offset, and the opposite of red is green. But then if it's so I'd be curious to know what was the rest of the background like. Was there some blues and purples maybe in the background that were very strong that would throw the auto white balance off? Because the camera has to see something white in the frame, and then it usually gets it right. I don't know how that works exactly, but if there's something white in the frame, and it's a decent percentage of the frame, it'll usually get the white balance right. But when you're dealing with only colors, you only there's no whites or grays in the image, then the white balance can be heavily influenced by the colors that are there. And if it sees a lot of purplish, magenta, bluish colors, it's going to shift it more yellow orange. It was on a green leaf. So yeah, so if the opposite of green is red, right? And very close to red is orange. Uh, so it probably shifted a little bit uh, towards the reds, which makes everything look more orange, right? So if you have a strong red push in the white balance, it's going to make the other colors look more orange, right? That's all I can think of. Uh, and that's when using, shooting raw and using a color tool like the spider cube I use time to time. I certainly use it always in my professional work now. In fact, I'm going to use it tonight. Um, Love for MLS. Oh, hey man, hello. Um, I assume MLS is real estate related. I don't know. It is here. It's multiple listing service, but maybe it means something else for you. Anyhow, um, that's the best I can guess is that green has and there's a color wheel. Let me see if I can find it. Because I'm rounding when I say opposite of green is yellow. Here's yeah, opposite of green is red. So uh wrong window. So if you look here, here's green, opposite of green is this red, right? And right next to it is orange. So if there was a lot of green in the frame and then you have this red butterfly, it's going to shift, right? A little bit too orange, assuming there's nothing white in the frame. And that's the only thing I can think of that would be causing that shift is the white balance is seeing a lot of green. The camera's seeing a lot of green, so it offsets it by adding red to the frame, which would shift everything kind of orange. Okay. Where's my chat window? There we go. I've had this problem on 2 occasions with the same species of butterfly. Luckily, I always shoot raw. Let me see what kind of butterfly this red Admiral Butterfly. Let me look this up real quick. Oh, yeah. I've seen this before. This guy here. So he's black with just a couple of red splatches. Look at this. Let's see all this green? And it's kind of shifted this a little bit yellow or orange, right? So whoever took this picture is kind of having the same issue versus, you know, this image here, you know, there's no green, so the white balance is correct. I mean, you don't know if they did any editing to fix this, but look at this image. These wings look very orange here because of all this green is shifting it, right? This one here is still orange, even though it's shifted, so I don't know. This one is not a great example. There's some green. This one looks better because this is probably the most accurate representation. Very strong reds here with orange tips, right? This one looks like it's all reds, so this is a little bit underexposed, so the oranges here might look redder than they actually are. But I'd have to see one with my naked eye again. I'm a little bit, here's a stock image. It looks orange. See, there's all this green is shifting everything kind of orangey. They use the flash though, the way the light's hitting this, so that doesn't count. There's a legit image, I think. This is probably color accurate. So this is very strong reds here. This person looks like they corrected it. Here's another one with strong greens, right? But I'd have to see the image, you know? I'd have to see a clean, uncut image. Honestly, this looks pretty natural, even though this is very orange in here. Because the whites are pretty white. Well, there's some white here, that's why. This one has definitely shifted a little bit orange, this image here. But okay, anyhow, that's my best guess for what's going on. Okay, come over to the UK in late summer. Sure. Oh, I have to get a passport. Mine expired years and years ago because, you know, like I've said many times, I'm not big on travel. It's very expensive, right? And even when I could afford it, I didn't like it. But that said, you know, I've never gone to the UK. I might love it there. Never come back. Just live in the UK because, man, you guys got some amazing landscapes out there. We do here as well. I just don't live in an area where there's gorgeous landscapes or epic pictures that I can take. I have to drive quite a bit to get to somewhere that's interesting. Because we have mountains here, but they're small. You know, they're only about 3,500 feet high elevation wise, and they're kind of spread out, and they're all covered with trees. You know, we don't, you know, I have to drive quite a ways to get to any kind of interesting type of landscapes where there's, you know, big rocks and interesting trees and old forests, you know, that kind of thing. It's tough. Yes, topaz does mess with the colors a little bit. I noticed that too, Marco. Yeah. But I think you know, just try doing the white piece of paper. Actually, somebody recommended using toilet paper instead of white paper because it doesn't have that bleach or fluorescent chemical in it for uh, to keep it from turning yellow. Toilet paper has is about the purest form of white paper. So use toilet paper for white balance and see if that one touch white balance technique improves the color. I mean, odds of you setting the white balance and getting a picture of a butterfly shortly thereafter are pretty slim, I know, but it's something you could experiment with. Like, take a picture of the green with some flower, maybe with a red flower, and see what happens. I don't know. White balance is always an issue. It's never quite right. Like I was doing some white balance or taking some self-portraits yesterday. I was practicing some flash uh, portraits because I'm doing a photo job tonight that's going to be mainly, it's like an event, it's a house party, but it's primarily going to be portraits of some of the guests. So I had to kind of practice a little bit to get my so when I go there I can set up quickly and get right down to business instead of like, oh, what is this setting again? You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't do portraits every day. I could walk into any house or property, blind and do a decent job. But you ask me to come and do portraits and do a decent job, I have to, I'm really rusty. I have to brush up a little bit. And white balance was definitely an issue for me because I was using a blue background and the flash temperatures and the umbrellas. My umbrellas are getting really dirty. I have them all set up around here. Uh, so the white balance was off. It wasn't a perfect thing. I can show you one. Let me see. Show you what I was practicing yesterday. Just self-portraits. Um, but I've already corrected for the white balance on these. Let me go to one. Let's see this one. No, this one looks okay, but the white balance is a little bit off. I think I fixed the white balance by the time I got to that shot. Let me go up a little bit. Let me try this one. Yeah, see the white balance is it's a little bit too red here. And if I actually click on like something white, let's try, well, let's try over here. It's probably very hard to tell, but that's the corrected white balance. This is the uncorrected white balance now as I'm pushing the compare button. What if I do side by side? See, it's very subtle. It's too red. So it's too, yeah, it's just too hard to tell on YouTube, I'm sure. Let me see, did I do anything here? No. Uh, where's my reference picture? I have a reference shot somewhere. I was trying to do some light painting. That's really hard to do when you're only one person. Let me see. I have a reference shot. I didn't use my spider cube because I was just practicing. But I'm going to use my spider cube tonight. I have a reference shot somewhere. Where is it? Give me a second. Oh, there it is. See? Here. So I was just using this, which I've used time to time. But if I click on it here, now it's correct. So there. That should be pretty obvious, right? That there's a pretty significant difference between using my flash, and I had the white balance set correctly, I think, in camera versus on the right. This was definitely a problem. So this is the corrected white balance here on the right side. This is the wrong white balance. So that was my thing there. And then I ended up with, now what you can do with this blue screen, right? Here I had a little bit of glow, my glamour shot of myself. But you can select the blue here. And with the screen, I can change the background to anything I want. Let me brighten it up a little bit. But isn't that cool how I can just kind of shift the hue on just that one color? I mean, if I want to be really precise, I can select it like this and then shift it like so. There's a little bit of blue in my shirt that's getting changed too, but if I want more earthy tones or if I want green, I can go back to blue. And if I want gray, I just take the saturation out. Now I got gray. But that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing last night, was practicing my portrait shots. And for the lens, I'm using the 45 f1.8. I may bring my 12 to 40 Pro in case I need to do full-length body type shots. I really don't know what I'm walking into. But generally the 45 f1.8, or I may just use the 12 to 40 Pro. But as you know, my 12 to 40 Pro lens, you know, got drenched, like filled with water. So it's been a little bit spotty. I'm going to bring it. I'm using it right now, actually, my 12 to 40 Pro for the stream, because I forgot I put it on there. But the 12 to 40 Pro will let me, you know, do full-length bodies, right, by zooming out. And then I can do portraits by zooming in. And if I use this blue screen, you know, it's just one of those collapsible things you flip out. I can bring that with me. A couple light stands. I might do a 3-light setup, though. You know, do one key light, some rim lighting, and then do some back lighting or stacking, right? Double lighting in the front. So if I do light stacking in the front and do a rim lighting on the back, that would be probably a really nice. I don't know if I have an example of that. I was trying that out. Because the shot I just showed you where I was changing the colors, that was just a simple one key light. I don't think I even had rim lighting on that. Excuse me, that was just a front and center shot. No, I don't have any good examples here. Yeah, this one I did it. Let me punch in the eyes, then I'll be able to tell. No. This is one key light in the front and rim lighting on the top, because you can see my hair is lit up here. And my shoulders are lit up, but let me find one where I did some light stacking. Those are kind of cool. Yeah, this is one where I did light stacking, right? So this one here, you can see that my face is brighter than my arms, right? That's not just natural fall off from the light. That's actually because I stacked the light. So I put one flash, you know, this one pointing right at my face with a snoot. I had a snoot, you know, my can cooler snoot to beam the light just on my face. And then right behind this, I had the umbrella right behind it to spread the light everywhere else. So I got this nice brighter face, but then nicely dark kind of surrounding. But I think if I get a third light, that was just 2 lights. I need to get a third light so I can get this lighting on my hair. all around here and on my shoulders. So I can, I think I added a, no, I didn't. If I add a control point, see the difference? I just did it artificially here. I'm just brightening my face a little bit versus without. It's very subtle. That's with a little bit of brightening. Um, with lighting. So that's the effect I'm going to go for, but I want to do that in camera, right? So I would need a third light to kind of focus just on my face. I need the rim lighting on top, and then I need the umbrella just to cast the light for the entire scene, the key light. That's the plan anyway. So we'll see. So I was practicing last night all of my different portrait setups, and with different lighting, 1 light, 2 lights, and 3 lights. I didn't have my third light, so I'm going to have to bring my 8200, my TT350, and my V1. So here's my TT350, and then I have my V1 up there and my 8200. 3 light stands and my blue background. And then I should be able to take some nice portraits. I have to watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to pose women. Because what's going to be fun tonight is what I'm told is they probably did, what I'm told is these are a bunch of yoga fitness enthusiasts party, all girls, right? So um, I'm sure they're going to want full length shots, right? So they can show off their physique. And that's why I'm thinking I probably need to bring my 12 to 40 Pro. And that way I can do the portraits, the headshots or chest up, and then the full length body for the physique. And I want to have the most flattering light possible, which is going to require that I bring 3 lights, I think. Um, so I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, like I said, maybe some of you guys are portrait photographers. You can give me some tips on posing and stuff. I'll watch some videos. Let me lower my seat a little bit. But I think I got the lighting down. Because that's one thing is once you get to know your gear, you know the kind of flashes you have and your and equipment and your lenses. You have all of that, and if you're fairly competent photographer, you can just about do any kind of photography, right? If you understand lighting and things. But I'm not a creative type, and I don't work with models a lot, so I don't know how to pose them. I'll be like, just stand there, maybe do over the shoulder kind of shots, or maybe do something on the chair, like one arm up. I don't know, play with their hair, whatever, right? I'll have to watch some YouTube videos on how to pose women and get that sort of dialogue too, right? Whatever the vocabulary is that these model photographers use. Um, I mean, I don't want to be extreme like what's his name? I was watching some movie, uh, Austin Powers, right? Remember he was doing all these photos of somebody, and he was crazy, right? When he was doing that, I don't want to be that extreme, but I want to be at least a little bit alive, right? Give them a reason to smile naturally, and not ask them, can you smile? Can you smirk? Can you frown? Play with your hair. I got to have some sort of dialogue to make them laugh a little bit, because those are always the best shots when you get a natural smile or a natural laughing shot or a natural pose rather than sort of an artificial kind of shot, right? Where you can tell they're posing or you can see they're posing for the shot. So, and right along. Oh, you're doing your E5. Cool. I'll take a look at a Flickr and see what you've been up to. And system insurers have recently started doing EM1 Mark III, video with the EM1 Mark III, video writes to slot 2 camera memory card, not slot 1. Since slot 1 is fastest writing speed and set as priority, why does this occur? Okay, even if you're doing 4K, Cinema 4K, which is the 200 megabits, you're fine in slot 2. I do it all the time. The only thing you need to be wary of is the memory card itself. You want to make sure you're using a V30, V as in Victor 30 SanDisk. I use SanDisk memory cards, but a V30 memory card, and that'll give you more than enough bandwidth through card slot 2 to handle Cinema 4K. You don't need the high-speed UHS-2 memory card in slot 1 to do video on the M1 Mark III. The Panasonics that have 10-bit 444 color and stuff, yeah, you need some bandwidth, right? A V30 card ain't going to take it. You're going to need a V60, V90 type video card to handle that kind of bandwidth. But the M1 Mark III is 420, I believe. Or it might be 422. I think it's 420 8-bit. The maximum bandwidth of that is like 200. It's right at 200 megabits, I believe. But a V30 card is no problem. I do it all the time. Because, I don't, for my vlogs and stuff, I don't really do 4K video with my cameras anymore. But in my property videos, I do record 4K, Cinema 4K for my property videos. And, I'll do, 40, 50 minutes of property videos, per property with a V30 card, and you're fine. So don't worry about it. And System Mature says, oh, I'm sorry, Druid's asking me about my thoughts on V1. I think it's good for portraits, for lighting things up. The beam is a little bit tight. You can't like zoom it in really tight. Like this, my TT350 is actually brighter, even though it's probably half the power. It's actually brighter when I have to zoomed in all the way to 105 millimeters at pushing the light towards the subject if the subject is kind of far away. Because the V1, the light just spreads too quickly. So because it's wide angle, I think the maximum zoom on the V1 is around 50 millimeters. So the light just spreads out. So if your subject's a little bit far away, this is better. So to give you an example, like if you're taking pictures of birds up in a tree, take the filter off, zoom this into 105 millimeters, and you'll get more light on the bird than you will with the V1, even though it's twice as powerful. Because of the inverse square law and all that, the beam just spreads out too quickly. For portrait work, it's pretty freaking awesome. You get a nice, clean, round light onto the subject. So whether you're doing, let me just get the V1 so people know what the heck we're talking about. Oops, come on. All right, so here's the V1, right? So the V1, it's round, right? A round head. So whether you're shooting this way or this way, you have to be conscious of shadows and all that. But whether you're shooting this way or this way, you don't have to worry about the light pattern. It's always going to be round. Whereas if you're shooting with a normal flash head like this gives you a wide flash beam. This gives you a tall flash beam, right? So you have to be a little bit conscious of that. But that's why this is actually brighter for long distance objects, because you can focus this beam directly, right? Whereas this one, it's too wide. The light spreads out too much by the time it gets far away, even though it's twice as bright. So it's almost as bright as this, but this is still brighter for long distance objects. For close-up stuff, you can kind of see, right, the difference that it would be. This is going to be a lot brighter for objects that are close, right? I'd say less than 3 or 4 meters. This is way better at 3 or 4 meters and will work really well outdoors. This outdoors, you can get away with it, but you'll be better off with this outdoors if we're talking about a distance of 3-4 meters. As the light drops, right, late evening, early morning, nighttime, this is more than enough and will give you enough distance, enough range, but just be conscious of the light pattern, vertical or horizontal, right? And if you're shooting through an umbrella, it almost doesn't matter if you're shooting this through an umbrella. But I was using this for key lighting coming down from the top, not key lighting, but rim lighting, or maybe I'm shooting it behind the person to illuminate the wall. I get a nice round pattern for that nice glow behind the person. This is way better because it's round already, right? So just I'd say the difference really is if you're talking 3 or 4 meters or less, this is the better choice overall. It's brighter and a more even light pattern, regardless of position. This, this one, if you want the tall pattern or you want the horizontal lighting, uh, this is okay, right? All right. Anyway, that's what I have for that. And Sysmo says, my Met's flash has 2 flashlights, a small one for direct, and the larger is the main, which I guess should be bounced off the ceiling. Oh, that's interesting. 2 lights and 1 flash. That's interesting. Oh, Steven, how are you? Good to see you. Jose says, Joe Edelman has great tips. Yes, Joe is the best. Joe is sort of my idol, Joe Edelman, with respect to his teaching ability. He is a master teacher, in my opinion. His videos are a little too short, and for some subjects, right? It's very, very high level. But he still, when he's actually teaching, like if he takes time, like if he has these 1 hour live streams, when you watch him do at a conference or one of these shows, or you go to see his live streams where he's talking about a particular type of photography, the bar none, he is the best educator out there, in my opinion. So I really, really envy and admire his teaching ability as a teacher, instructor, etc. And he's really a nice guy. He's always ready to help you, and you know he doesn't well, anyway, Joe Edelman is awesome, and I highly recommend you guys watch his channel. Like I said, the details are a little bit lean in his 10-minute videos. The fine details, the overall concepts. If you're a competent photographer already and you want to know how to do something, his videos are awesome, right? But if you're a beginner, sometimes when he's talking about more advanced topics, there's a lot of gaps there that I think a beginner would be like, well, how did you do that? How did you go from here to here? Whereas a competent photographer or an experienced photographer would say, oh, I know how you got from point A to point B, but I didn't think about, this, and this is how I can do this now, right? In that respect, they're excellent. His beginner videos and stuff are great, right? If he has very rudimentary type videos, but a lot of his videos they're kind of meant for people that are already fairly good with their gear and their camera and have some idea about exposure and lighting. And that's where his videos excel. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of his beginner videos where he talks about very, very basic things. So I don't want to say that he doesn't do that, but the few videos I've seen that are more covering more advanced topics in lighting and work, there's a lot of gaps there that I think a beginner would struggle with. But that said, when he takes like his streams and his when he does conferences or he's teaching something, man, he is the best. Okay. Sysmo Show, thanks for the information. Just shooting Kingfisher with the M1 Mark III and 150 to 400 lens. My main problem is when using screen is my bad eye. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't see the live view. This is, I can see this far away, but it's too far away, right? Everything's so small. And if I bring it closer, it gets blurry. I'm so with you on that. And Druid says, oh, wow, thanks. That's a lot of information. Thank you for that. Oh, okay, sure. Druid. And Marco says, Joe is a phenomenal speaker and a great teacher, but his approach is a little bright. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of patience uh, for, and I don't want to say stupid questions because that's not what it is. You could be taught, he's talking about flash photography. Let's say he's doing a speech on flash photography, and then somebody says, well, I like to do natural light photography. Then his response is, well, what are you doing here? I'm talking about flash photography. If you're a natural light photographer, what are you doing here? It's like, I can't help you. Basically, what he's trying to say is, I can't help you today because I'm talking about flash photography. Talking about natural light photography is a waste of time right now. So he's very, very efficient with his time, which makes him a great teacher, right? He doesn't waste any time going off on tangents. Like if he's talking about portrait photography with flash, he's not going to entertain a question about natural light photography. So in that sense, I can see where you say brash. Yeah, I get it. But he tries to pack as much information as he can in 1 hour or whatever that time frame is, without going off on any tangents. Unlike me, I'm constantly going everywhere. I'll talk about anything and everything. But Joe's not like that. He's very efficient, and he's not going to waste time. Um, yeah, he could be a little nicer. He could say, what, instead of saying, what are you doing here? Why are you, watching? He could say, well, I'm not covering that today, but, maybe another time, right? That would be a little nicer way to put it. Uh, but that's Joe, right? Everybody has their own personality, their own voice of how they communicate, uh, how they're feeling and what they're thinking. And Joe is definitely very succinct and has a lot to cover in a short time. So he doesn't waste any time. And I think any distractions, it just comes out in a way that, yeah, it may seem a little harsh at times. If you're sensitive to that kind of thing. Me, it doesn't bother me. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't put it like that, but that's not me. That's Joe. Joe puts it like that. I wouldn't. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with Joe, of course, right? Joe is freaking awesome. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, his approach. Yeah, I know what you were trying to say, Marco. Um, could it be that one of the light sources video light, the Ali 6FR, the video light? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, if it's, come to think of it, I've never seen a flash that has two flash heads, but I have seen the video light and the flash separate. So if that's what you mean, yeah, I've seen that. And System Mature says, I do normally do portraits, but my go-to lens will be 12 to 35 or 42, or the 60 millimeter Olympus. Yeah, those are all good ranges for like I said, the 12 to 40 covers that range. At a decent at a decent aperture at f2.8 if I need to blur out any background, but I probably won't need to much. I'm gonna try and use the this blue thing, my collapsible blue thing. I don't know if I can show you guys the overall setup. Where's my power bank? Oh, it's underneath one. I was using this too. I was mounting this to block light. It's just Velcro, right? But uh, I was trying to prevent some of the light spilling off onto the wall behind the other side, so I put this on. I can put it on top or on the side. me put a little more Velcro on this side so I can put it on this side if I need to. And I got my can cooler snoot, which I'll probably use, but I also have these grids. I'm going to try a couple of shots with the grid and see how it looks. But, you know, I can put the grid on the front like so, right? To kind of focus the light more on my face and get that very 1960s, 1950s cinematic look. But it'll be fun tonight. I mean, of course, I'll get the standard shots that I know how to do fairly well, but I'm gonna play a little bit too. All right, let me plug in my power bank. Let's see. Yeah, it's working. Just need to brighten the image up a little bit. Oops. So take this off my stand. I got any wiggle room? No. Oh, there's my umbrella. Can I zoom out for you a little bit? This way, yeah. So I had this one umbrella. I was kind of sitting there. I have the other light stand. Well, you can't see the. Can I brighten this a little more? No, it won't go any brighter. Oh, I could take the aperture down there. So there's the light stand. I lowered it so I could take the flash off to show you guys. And then the umbrella, and then I had my tripod set up in the hallway, you know, my camera. And I was taking pictures of me sitting on this chair with this blue background. This umbrella is for the something else, but anyhow, that's what I was doing. Ugh. Can I mount this back on here? I need to come up with a better, because this is gonna fall down one day. How do I get this back in here? There we go. I'd like to show you this other setup too, but I can't. I'd have to get a mirror so you could see. Anyway, any recommendations for a beginner umbrella? If you're talking about just the umbrella itself, any $10 or $15 umbrella you can buy. You want to get one. You know, ideally, if you can get a couple different sizes, that would be ideal. But if you only have one flash, then I would recommend like a 36. How big is this one? I think these are 36-inch umbrellas, shoot through umbrellas. They sell umbrellas that are sort of like multi-purpose, where you can put a. I don't have one here. Well, I'll just describe it to you using this one. So I think this is a 36. This is a 36-inch, right? But there's a black. You can cover this with a black. It has a black cover with silver on the other side. Where is that thing? I need to bring that tonight. But what you do is you shoot this way, and it reflects the light back down. That's one way to do it. That helps reduce the light spill, and it's still a nice soft light. But yeah, something about this size, 36-inch, just to give you some perspective. This is what I'm going to be using. And you can get a 2 light stand, 2 umbrella kit for like $50. You get 2 light stands and 2 umbrellas with a little flash, because you need the little clips that'll hold the flash. I don't have any. They're on the light stand, but the light stand will come with adjustable ends so that you can mount your flash. So when you buy your light stands, make sure it has the adjustable thing on the top that you can mount your flash onto, and put the umbrella in. Let me just take one off. So when you buy your light stands, make sure it comes with the thing so you can mount your flash onto it. It's just a little cold shoe, right? And then this mounts onto the stand this way, like that, and you tighten it in, and that way you can adjust the flash, point it down, point it up, whatever you need to do. So you get 2 light stands with these things. Make sure this is included with it, with the hot shoe mount, and then 2 umbrellas, 50 bucks. Get a couple of Godox TT350s or V1, whatever your budget is. You could even buy like $50 flashes that are wireless that will work too. I mean, there's so many ways to do it on a budget, but if you're going to get into flash photography, I recommend Godox TT350 with, one of the radio triggers. This is the Pro trigger, but they have another trigger, either one. That way you can build on that same system without having to reinvest, right? Okay, hopefully that helps. Let's see. John Matthews is here. Hey, John. Yeah, hi. I was talking about you earlier with comparing the 75 and the 75 to 300 lens. I'm definitely going to do that, but I'm going to include my 14 to 150 and my 40 to 150 kit lenses and versus, the 75 and see. And we'll test it at 75. We'll test it at 300 and crop in and see, all those different kinds of things, right? Because it might be interesting to see, is the 75 millimeter sharper than the kit lens 40 to 150? So if you zoom the kit lens at 150 millimeters and you have the 75 at 75 because it's a prime, but you crop in, is it sharper than the kit lens zoomed in? I don't know. We'll see. So it'll be a full-on test. I'm just debating what I should do. Should I just do it in my backyard? Because the last time I did that, I got eaten alive by mosquitoes. So I'm a little bit anxious about that. But I'm definitely going to work on that if I can. I'm going to try and make some time to do it this week, but it's going to rain tomorrow and Thursday. So maybe Friday. But yeah, I'm going to do that. Because why not, right? I mean, otherwise it'd be like a 1-minute video. The 75 versus the 300. Might as well do a full-on thing. I mean, my backyard's idea because I know the subject, right? I know what that looks like and what to expect, and I can focus on something kind of far away because I need to do 2 tests, right? I need to focus on things that are closer and then things that are far away. Because zoom lenses in particular, they work better at shorter focal lengths than they do longer ones. Generally speaking, the cheap ones, right? The kit lens variety. But prime lenses should be sharp whether you're focusing close or far away, generally is what I found. But I need to test for it. You just don't know until you test it, right? Oh, and then Brian is asking, can the trigger sync with other flashes or only Godox? Only Godox. If you buy Godox trigger, they have something called the Godox X trigger system. This is actually a Flashpoint brand, but it's basically a rebranded Godox. But yeah, you want to look for the X triggers. So, and which is virtually all the Godox wireless flashes. In fact, you could buy 2 Godox X flashes, right? Like right now, if I have these 2 flashes, I don't need to buy a trigger because this flash can trigger this one and vice versa. Wirelessly, you can control either or, back and forth. In which case you don't need a trigger. So actually on my photo jobs, I don't need to bring a trigger with me because if I'm going to have one flash on the camera, I don't need to bring a trigger with me. But for my portrait work that I'm doing tonight, for example, I will need to put the trigger onto the flash And then I'm going to have 3 Godox flashes, a 3-point light set up for the portraits. And I won't need a flash on the camera. I won't have a flash on the camera, so I'll need a trigger. So you still need a trigger ultimately if you're going to be working with multiple flashes. It's a lot easier for one. But if you only have 2 flashes and you're going to use one on camera, like I do in my real estate photography, I always have one camera on the flash. I don't need my trigger. I can just, use this as the trigger. But yeah, every brand is very, generally speaking, only works with their own brands. You just have to be careful with Yongnuo because they had multiple versions of radio triggers and they don't work with all their flashes. Whereas Godox, they have a couple of different ones, but generally speaking, all of the Godox are X trigger compatible, right? Part of the Godox X system. And you can buy any Godox X trigger flash and it'll work with any Godox trigger flash. And vice versa, a lot of their flash heads that mount onto the camera, not their separate strobes that you can't mount onto a camera. I'm talking about camera mountable flash heads have the radio triggers built in, has transmitters built in, wireless, we're not talking infrared, we're talking wireless transmitters built into the flash to control everything else. And System Mature says, I have 2 Nissan flashlights and remote control from camera hot shoe in addition to roto LED lights, which can also do flash, but no wireless unit for this as of yet. Okay. That's a good, you can't have enough lighting, to be honest. I'm always looking at flashes. I'm supposed to get another flash from Godox. I mean, I paid for all of these myself, Every flash I own, except for one Yongnuo, all the flashes I own, I've paid for myself. Godox was supposed to send me one like a week ago, but I guess they changed their mind. I'm supposed to get a 50mm f9.5 lens too. I think it's an 9.5 or people are always promising to send me stuff, for review, and I pick the ones that I can use myself, right? Like I can use another Godox flash all day long. If I can get a flash for a review, I will take it. If I can get a lens for review, I'll take it. But if somebody sends me like another microphone review, wow, I've turned down a lot of those lately because I have all the mics I need and the ones I've reviewed are good. There's no need to really, unless a new one has something very unique about it. But anyhow, Ride Along says, trying a new video format, use the Tracker TG to film me, EM 5.3 for the dashboard, going to try putting me picture inside of a dashboard video. Yeah, that's pretty elaborate. I have, for my vlogging, I have switched to a much simpler setup. I just use a GoPro-like thing for my vlogging now when I'm walking around. It's this big and it's good enough for vlogs. And then for the car, I have the dash cam, right, which has a front and rear camera. So if I wanted to do a dual camera and camera thing, I can do that. And it's always on. I don't have to like turn it on, turn it off. I don't have to think about it. The only thing that sucks is the audio. So I do have to record the audio separately. I have to be very conscious of that. But yeah, I used to like mount, I had these mounts, like actually I bought this mount for my dash to put my EM5 Mark III on my dashboard. And now I just use it for my microphone. But I used to do, I try to come up with all these elaborate ways to do video, and the video quality is certainly superior to the crap that I replaced it with. But I just decided for my vlogging, the quality doesn't have to be perfect, I don't need that blurry background. I don't need all of the features. that a real legitimate camera would need, that can do, I should say. So yeah, the TG Tracker is a cool little camera. The M5 Mark III is certainly competent video camera as well. But I just gave up on all of that and just went with a very simple GoPro solution and dash cam. And but where I want the quality is in the photography side, right? So I'm going to use my EM5 or my EM1, EM10, doesn't matter. I'm going to use an OMD or Pen F to take the pictures and showcase that. But the video itself, I make that totally secondary now. It's like people don't need to see a sharp video of me or a sharp video of where I'm driving to. If I need clear video of a location, I will use the OMD. I'll put it on a gimbal or, pan with my tripod or just pan manually, right? I will do that a lot if I need clean video. But me driving in the car, yeah, I think it's kind of overkill. A dash cam, $100 dash cam. Well, about $150 dash cam if you want front and back will do the trick for most vlogging situations. And then a little GoPro Hero. I mean, my Insta360, actually, if I put the 360 lens on it, I don't use a GoPro, I use a Insta360. It will do front, back, rear, 360, everything. It has some sort of dash cam functionality that I haven't tried yet. I just don't see the need, but that's another way to go. And John Matthews, the test engine mainly because I'd like the detail, but also higher shutter speeds. At f1.8 to 75 has a lot over the other lens, just not the reach, but it's sharper. Yeah, I'll definitely make a video on that. The X3 flash system sounds amazing. A lot for you to set up. Yeah, 3 light stands, 2 umbrellas, and 3 flashes and a trigger. But I can fit it all in one bag and in 2 bags. I got this, ow, God, not God, but dang it. Um, uh-oh, Ellie, stop. But I can fit all 3 light stands in this one bag. This is actually my tripod case. But I can fit all 3 light stands. There's one in here now. I can fit all 3 light stands in this bag. And then in my other bag, I can fit all 3 flash units and a camera into it. And the trigger. Everything fits, and a couple lenses. Because everything's so compact with, Olympus, right? The cameras and the lenses. I mean, I could even use the 14 to 42 kit lens for the portraits tonight. I'm going to bring that as a backup. Just in case my 12 to 40 gets all flaky, but for portrait work, even the 14 to 42 kit lens is fine. It's plenty sharp. I'm gonna soften the images anyway because they're portraits, right? Wow, System Mature, man, you went all out. You got the Zion Weeble S and follow focus. Yeah. I mean, there are some very elaborate video setups, but man, I would never make a video if I had to do all of that just to do a vlog. Yeah, you don't have to do a lot though. You're right, Randy. You'll definitely get better quality with the setup you're talking about. It's just a lot more, it's a little more work. But anyway, John says, sadly, people don't care much about video quality. However, audio needs to be good. You should be happy about not doing all that B-roll that other channels. Yeah. Yeah, screw B-roll. I mean, I don't mind a little tiny bit of B-roll, just for some visual interest. But, oh my God, yeah. those guys, you know, like James Pops, this man, he's got B-roll, he's got drone footage. He's not as bad though as some of the other channels. I always give Thomas Heaton a hard time for his B-roll. I shouldn't. He has great videos, you know. But as a content creator myself, right? I ain't doing all that. I'm not doing it. You know, maybe I'll never have, a million subscribers like these other channels do because my content, my production quality is not half as good or a quarter as good as theirs, but um yeah, I'm just I guess I'm too lazy to do all of that. Hike a mountain twice just for B-roll. Um oh, John Yutze is here. Oh, and hey Walter, how you doing? And Sis Matura says, and yeah, Friday we'll definitely get together. Um Pending I don't get a stupid photo job in the way. Walter and I are going to do some flash photography. We've been talking about flash photography a little bit today, Walter. So we'll be doing some flash photography. I got that job tonight, as you know. Would be fun. Citizen Natura says, I'm only using video for shooting wildlife, not general driving clips or selfie vlogs, so would like to get the best quality. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You bought a setup after watching Jimmy Chang. Yeah, Jimmy Chang is he does excellent videography, no question. And John says, how's my teaching going? As a teacher myself, I know the challenges. I didn't do a class this weekend, but I'm doing some individual tutoring now, which is good. Good. So it's going well. I need to set up another class. I want to set up actually a workshop where we're teaching outdoors. So I'm gonna try and work on that today or tomorrow. God, it's already Tuesday, so I'm running out of time to set up something. Well, this weekend I got all kinds of things planned, so I may not even be able to do a class this weekend. Just so I mean, I didn't want to mention it, but um, I I turned double nickels this week. You know, 55. This week I turned 55. So this coming weekend I got to go to birthday parties and stuff like that, right? So maybe Sunday I can do. I can't remember Sunday. I feel like I have to look at my calendar. I got all kinds of things planned. There's an air show. There's birthday party and the photo job tonight. Hopefully a photo editing stream Thursday, another photo job this week, potentially, if the guy ever calls me back. I mean, that's a lot. I'm only good for 3, 4 hours a day, you know, uh, at a time anyway. About 3 hours at a time, and then I got to take a nap or something. Um, like after the stream, I guarantee it's almost 12, right? I'm gonna reheat something I cooked yesterday. I made some spaghetti. It's really good. But I'm gonna reheat some spaghetti, eat that, watch a little bit of TV, then take a nap, then take a shower and get ready to go to my photo job tonight. Um, and tonight, try not to drink too much. But anyway. Oh, thank you, everyone. Yeah, 55. I am younger than a lot of you guys. I know, definitely. My average age on my channel, not even an average. It's like 80% of my viewers are 65 and older. When I looked at my YouTube statistics, it's like 65 and up. And then there's a handful my age, like the other 10 or 15%. And then 2, 3% are younger than 45. Like there's hardly any young people watching me. Uh, it's mostly you guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lysippus. Thank you. Yeah, happy days. I'm very lucky. Double nickels. Made it this far. Hopefully, we'll hit another 55. You know, why not live to be 110? Why not? God willing. But uh, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with where I am today at 55. I mean, it's not what I thought I'd be doing when I was in my 20s and 30s. In my 20s and 30s, I thought by 55, man, I'd be living large, have a yacht, have this big, beautiful home. And maybe a family with kids and grandkids. Like I thought all these things when I was young. And, through a lot of bad life decisions, I don't have any of those things, right? But I'm still happy, right? I'm still very happy and I'm very lucky to be where I am today, especially having, viewers like you that I can talk to or chat with. I find that I get a lot of joy and pleasure out of that and being able to just spend my time with folks like you guys and others locally like Walter and Debbie and a lot of my friends. So I feel very blessed and very lucky to be where I am in my life. Even though I have no money, I'm broke all the time. Uh, but I'm very lucky and blessed to be at this age and have the people in my life that I do have. Uh, Now I'm going to start tearing up, but I feel very lucky to be where I am in my life and have the friends and family that I do. And I got no complaints and no regrets really on that side of my life. I have a lot of regrets financially. Oh my God, so many stupid things, which Walter can attest to because he's known me most of my adult life. He's known me almost all of my adult life. So he knows kind of the train wreck my life has been financially, from rags to riches back to rags. Uh, but all the same, um, time to get on TRT. What is that? What is TRT? And Randy's 67, Marsha's 65. Yep. Um, Thanks everyone for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. And you never get old with photography, video, music business, and rock and roll. I'm still alive. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Jerky. Um, okay. So, thanks everyone for being my friend and YouTube friend. For those of you that I've met in person, thank you. I really appreciate all of you. Um, Testosterone replacement theory. There, yeah, I don't have any problem there. Thank God. Uh, More energy though. You're right. You're right. Definitely. I've had to up my coffee to twice a day to kind of keep going. Partially because, when I had a day job, well, I wouldn't call it a day job. I haven't had a day job forever. But when I got something to do all day, I'm good. But then I go to bed pretty early, like 9 o'clock. But if I take a nap during the day, then I'm up till like midnight, 1 in the morning, all the time. So ultimately, I'm up the same number of hours and doing things, but it's just broken up. TRT can be hazardous. But I eat 3 eggs a day. I mean, I cook them. I don't eat 3 raw eggs, but I eat 3 eggs a day, and that's made quite a bit of difference, making sure I get that pure protein. Because eggs have a very high protein. I mean, they're high protein, but their utilization of that protein is much higher in eggs. Is what I read. So I tried it, and it has made a difference. I think. I've noticed many things. My nails grow faster, my hair grows faster, uh, and that's all protein, right? Your hair and nails and everything, among other things that we don't talk about online, right? I've been very good. So 3 eggs a day has been my diet, and that's made quite a bit of difference. I notice when I don't eat eggs, things change. Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you. I will have a good day. Double nickels though, 55. That's so I'm no longer in my early 50s, right? Now I'm in my late 50s. I don't believe in mid 30s, mid 40s, mid 50s. You're either in your early 50s or your late 50s, right? So this week it's going to be my late 50s. No longer in my early 50s. So but that's okay. I need to get back in shape though. I tell you, ugh. I mean, I'm certainly in reasonable condition, but I'm not going to run 5 miles today. I'd have a heart attack. I used to run 5 miles, 3, 4 days a week, um, without a lot of effort. I mean, I would sweat, of course, but it wasn't it wasn't super hard. I just did it. But that was like 5, 6 years ago. Now, I haven't done jack physically in 5 or 6 years, and everything's, I used to be, man, I used to have some strength. Now I'm like trying to open up a freaking bottle of something, and I'm like, God, I need to get a grip. It's like, come on. It's really pathetic. Uh, I just couldn't believe it. I had a really hard time opening up a jar the other day. And I was like, that's it, man. If I can't open a freaking jar, man, I'm like, I need to get to the gym or something. That's just ridiculous. Ugh. And Cinnamon Shore is 70 with a 6-day trip starting on Sunday in Norfolk. Oh, awesome. So you're not going to be far from me. Norfolk to Cyprus. And if you're talking about Norfolk, Virginia, I don't know if Norfolk somewhere else, because I don't think you're in the US. Don't they say 55 is the new 45? I don't know. 45, I was pretty fit. I was benching my weight. I was running 5 miles 3, 4 times a week. Biking, swimming. 45, man. So 55 is not the new 45. If we're talking about when I was 45, I was really fit. And Marsha, you're way higher than 65. Wow, that's shocking because I've met you, Marsha. You look really good. I can't believe you're over 65 or way higher. That would that does surprise me a bit because I remember meeting you last year at one of the photo walks. I know, for those of you that don't know, Marsha lives in Florida, but she came up to the area and joined the local photo club for a photo walk. Yeah, Mike, you wish you were in your 50s again. I know. It's one of those things, it's like I think I'm still in a position that I can get into the same shape I was when I was at 45. I think. I don't feel like I couldn't do that. But yeah, I wish I was in the same shape I was when I was 45. Okay, Marshall, we'll see you next time. Norfolk, UK. Yeah, that's what I thought, about 120 miles. Yeah. The Norfolk here in Virginia is about 120 miles from me, actually. Um, but okay. I think I'll call it here. Randy says I'm like 67 plus 3, my favorite number. I like 67. 6 plus 7 is 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. I don't follow you. Yeah, 20 years, I'll be 75. If I'm lucky to live so long. Yeah, depending on how much beer. Yeah, I'm not a big drinker. I'll have one. I'll definitely have one this weekend at some partying, but maybe tonight at the party because it's a house party, right? But go with the flow and continue with this super chat show. Thanks. Um, yeah, but yeah, uh, once in a while. I mean, I had 2 drinks this weekend because I was at a wedding. So, you have it was open bar. You have to get it. You don't have to, but I felt like I had to because I never drink. Uh, and I was a little bit nervous, because I didn't. The wedding I went to this past weekend, uh, I used to date. I was very close to the mom. We used to date, but that was like 15 years ago, and I haven't really seen her since. And her kids are all grown and getting married now, right? And I hadn't seen any of them in a long, long time. So I was a little bit nervous. Uh, the fact that they invited me, I was very flattered to get invited because, like I said, I haven't really seen them in a long time. I mean, we kept in touch through Facebook, right? That's kind of a long distance type, keeping in touch kind of thing. You know, you say happy birthday, little uh, snippets here and there, but actually on the phone and see how they're doing kind of thing, I haven't been that close in a long time. Yeah, you always drink beer when you're in the music business. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, scotch once in a while. It's the taste of alcohol in of itself, I'm not a big fan of, but it's about efficiency. You get a scotch and you're pretty much set off one, at least for me. If I have one, that's just enough to give me a little buzz and a little bit uh take a little bit of an edge off. Um Whereas, you have to drink a whole thing of beer or a couple of them to kind of get there for me. So, but I don't, I don't promote drinking at all to anyone. It's just, like I said, once in a while I have one. It's the 45th anniversary of your 10th birthday. I like that. Yeah, it's true. Oh, but um, when you're in your early 50s, early 40s, early 30s, you can always reverse the numbers and be younger, right? Kind of. Well, I guess not. Never mind. See, Randy, you got me on this numerology thing. I have no idea now how to add, subtract, invert numbers. It's going to mess me up for my flash night because when you do flash, okay, let's get back to photography. When you do flash photography, you have to be very conscious of your numbers. How much power on this setting, how much power on that. So I'm at 1/32 here, 1/16 here, 1/8 here. I need to go up by one stop, so I need to be at 1/4 instead of 1/8. If I want to go up one stop on this light, and then the shutter speed is always fixed at 2/50th of a second. You don't have to think about that. But the aperture, if the image is a little bit dark, I can just lower the aperture. So I like to start at like f4 when I'm doing flash photography, and then if I got all the lighting exactly the way I want it, but I want it a little brighter or a little darker, I can just change the aperture by one stop, plus or minus, right? I can go from f4 to f2.8, or I can go from f4 to f5.6. Because I'm not worried about depth of field or anything like that when I'm doing my photography usually. I can separate the background via lighting. I don't have to worry about depth of field. And that's why I like to start at like f4 when I'm doing flash photography. If I'm using the kit lens, I need to start at f5.6. But with the f2.8, 12 to 40, or any of my primes, which are all 1/8s, if I start at f4, once I get all the lighting correct, I can just adjust plus or minus the aperture to adjust the brightness, and I'm all set. So I should do like a video on my flash photography, but I'm like an amateur compared to so many people. Like if I do a video on flash photography, people are going to be, I'll have the heavy hitters come in and say, well, if you do it this way, you're making a mistake because then it doesn't account for this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that, but that's just how I've been doing it, you know. Um, that's how I do flash photography. I shoot at f4, 1/250 of the second, base ISO 200 in my case, and then I adjust the flash power to get the lighting right. Um, and if I need to kill ambient light, I'll put an ND filter. I'll put an ND filter on. If I need to reduce ambient light, if I'm outdoors, I always use an ND filter. So that gives me the maximum amount of wiggle room with my aperture. And indoors, I'm usually good at f4. It's usually that kills the ambient light enough. So I don't know. I can that would be kind of a fun, easy video for me to make, is how I do my flash photography and get the results that I get without, making it too complicated, right? Even if I have a 3 light setup, uh, it's not complicated because once it's set up, all I have to do is adjust my aperture. It's just setting up the light power, and the light power is not hard. It's just like a dimmer for a light, right? A little more power here, a little less here, bang, you're done, you know? Um, yes, I drink, therefore I am. You guys. In the desert yesterday, 500 feet, wind turbine fell over. Wish I was there. Oh, yeah, that'd have been cool. I mean, not that destruction is good, but if you had nothing to do with it, it's good to go take a picture of it, right? Um, okay, I'm gonna call it, guys. I've had a really good time today. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. I'm going to try and do a photo editing live stream. I can't do it on Thursday, so it might be on Friday. Oh, I'm going to see Walter on Friday, so it'd have to be tomorrow, but that's kind of short notice. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get to one this week, but we'll see. Maybe Tuesday later. But then a lot of you are in the UK, so then it's too late at night. So it's complicated, right? When you have to think about people around the world, setting up a stream is not just, turn the lights on and go. It's like, oh wow, where are my viewers? But as always, I had a lot of fun. It was good seeing everybody again, and I will definitely see you again next week. So you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll figure out how to end this here. All right, there we go. See everyone later.